Welcome back to Wrestling with Egos. Don't you dare be sour. Clap for our GOAT discussion tonight and feel the power. It is a Wrestling with Egos day. Yes, it is. Welcome to the show. I'm Patrick, joined as always each and every week by my best friend Brian. Our boy RJ, aka Mark, could not be here this week because he literally messaged us in our group chat yesterday. I cannot make tomorrow night. Cannot make Friday night. Do with that information what you will. Well, dude, we hope everything's going okay. Oh, everything's fine. I just forgot that we have plans. My wife just informed me.
What's that like, RJ, to have plans? That's great.
Who are you and what have you done with our RJ?
Right.
Oh, hi, Mark. Anyway,
more power to him.
No more the room references ever on this show. We got a lot to talk about. We got 3 good topics, and then we're gonna dive into a deep dive on a GOAT discussion that we are really looking forward to. But first, to quote the late great legendary Rowdy Roddy Piper. Just when you think you have all the answers, Kenny Omega changes the questions. Okay, so when we last saw you guys last week, we were contemplating whether this was a one-off. That was the big rumor that it was an appearance and that the Good Brothers would show up to take on the Young Bucks on Dynamite. And that was the theory, not the Austin theory, just the theory. And apparently there's some big announcement that we've yet to hear after 2 days of Kenny Omega and Don Callis talking. But if you're using context clues, Kenny Omega either wants to have I am about to make both a Lord of the Rings and a Marvel reference in less than 30 seconds. Brace yourself, Brian. He either wants one belt to rule them all, or he's going to collect every damn belt known to man and be like freaking Thanos.
That's what I keep hearing, is that apparently he's just interested in amassing as many chalices as he possibly can.
You might not get this reference because you didn't watch WCW. He wants to be Ultimo Dragon. Ultimo Dragon, when he won, I think it was 96, he won the J Cup in Japan, which was like this massive junior heavyweight tournament for all of these titles. Ironically enough, one of them was the WWE Light Heavyweight Championship, not the Cruiserweight Championship, the Light Heavyweight Championship. I found this out listening to 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff. Bischoff did not know that. He was like, oh my God, if I would have known that. That would have been fun. Anyway, but again, so here we are on a Friday night talking about Kenny Omega on a heel turn, thinking, okay, now what are we doing? Excuse me. Brian, how are you trying to make sense of this?
I tried to advance this point last week, and I fear it may have gotten lost in the shuffle, but I think this is Kenny trying to break some new ground. He's bringing back some elements of his cleaner character.
Yeah, clearly.
From New Japan. But he's also doing it, dare I say, smarmier than it was before, because, he, and we'll get into this a little bit with Sting, in a couple minutes too. We watched this week looking for answers. And the booker in all of them just keeps dangling that carrot along, because you're going to follow. It's like the Pied Piper of Hamlin. You know that you're going to follow because Kenny has succeeded in creating this buzz.
Right.
And he's got wrestling Twitter and wrestling fanboys and all the smarks out there and people like us trying to predict what the next move is. I, for one, cannot predict what the next move is. I just feel like Kenny can have a series of great matches with a lot of people in either AEW or Impact, and we'd be all the better for it. But maybe there is some bigger agenda. I don't know. I don't know what that agenda is.
I don't either. There's definitely something, because here's something I keep hanging mentally keep hanging my hat on. Both Tuesday night and Wednesday night, they both made a lot of references to Japan, a lot of references to New Japan. Granted, both of them have a history there. Don Callis being a color commentator for the English side, Kenny Omega being Kenny Omega, and that's how we all learned about him. That's where Kenny Omega became Kenny Omega, and RJ's God.
Man crush.
No, man crush, deity, whatever. But
omnipotent one.
Omnipotent. Yes. Dancing girls with brooms and all. Anyway, moving right along.
There were 4 of them this time.
I hate the friggin' dancing girls with the brooms. That is the stupidest crap. I'm like, this is a dude that is a certifiable badass in the ring, and you got girls dressed in 1980s jazzercise outfits with brooms.
I figured it out. Fearless prediction.
Oh,
next week there's going to be 6. The week after that there's going to be 12. And then we're going to have a phalanx of dancing girls with brooms at New Year's. What's their first thing?
Revolution.
There's going to be just armies of them.
Just kill me.
But I do feel like, he's got it. He's got these ideas about where he wants to take his character and what he'd like to do for the business. And imagine if he took the AEW championship to Japan.
Dude, I gotta be honest. I don't think this is he has ideas. I don't think he is the one truly calling the shots on this.
You think it's Tony?
Tony, Cody, Nick, Matt, Kenny. I think they've all got a hand in it. Dude, for me, the way this has played out, both Tuesday and Wednesday night, this in a good way. This reeks of I can't think of another term. Grand conspiracy. I'm sorry, grand scheme.
Grand design.
Yes, thank you. Grand design. It reeks of it. There is something that they've got back pocket. I just have this feeling in my bones that they've got it back pocket, and they're waiting to play that card. And I have this feeling because there's too many teasers, too many little teases that could be something. And
allow me to make an editorial comment here really quick too. The fact that we're watching Vince McMahon continue to go all in on his pair of threes the way he does, bringing Goldberg back, supposedly, sending Keith Lee to developmental, apparently, supposedly, throwing hissy fits backstage at Raw and SmackDown and tearing up the scripts left and right. It only stands to reason and the stuff that's going on in NXT, which we'll get to in a little bit, is good, but about the whole company. So you best believe Tony Khan and everybody else, the deep thinkers AEW, are like, fine, let Nero fiddle while WWE burns, and we'll keep reinventing the business and pushing it forward. Since Vince apparently isn't interested in that anymore, and he can just screw himself into the ground. We don't have to do anything. That's what I think is happening.
Well, I'm not even thinking these ideas in my head don't even deal with WWE. What they do,
I'm just saying that,
what, in my opinion, what they do is irrelevant to what AEW wants to do and probably is going to do. We just don't know what they're about to pull off. But I think, and it's not even, when you really get down to it, the phrase I just used is probably a lot more accurate. They're about to pull something off. They're about to pull something out of their hat, and I just made my glasses worse. Awesome. Damn it. Anyway, they're about to pull something off, and it's going, my opinion, going to be just earth-shattering when they do. Let's go ahead and move into another AEW topic. It's Sting! Cody and Tony Schiavone in the ring. Out comes my wrestling deity, Sting, which was awesome. As I've said before on this show, I have said it at Brian's house one night at Survivor Series when Sting came out in WWE. I stood up and said, and I quote, "Ladies and gentlemen, God." My dude. Anyway, Sting comes out, and cut a very interesting, cryptic and interesting promo. Brian, I'll let you expound on that and tell me what you're thinking, and then I will retort.
And a thought just popped into my head. They're using Sting as a parlor trick. Everybody's fixated on Sting, and oh my God, is he going to wrestle? And oh, what if he wins the AEW championship? And oh my God, you fine. You guys worry about that. Meanwhile, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about a minute ago with Kenny and Don Callis and all, what they're trying to do on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and stuff like that. I think it's one of the oldest tricks in the book. You go ahead and you look over here. Well, the real trick is going on over here. I am thrilled to pieces that Sting is back. I loved all the little inside moments that they let us into with Tony Schiavone, because you know how much this means to him. You know how big of a deal it is for Cody to be in the same ring with Sting, because as much as Cody has idolized Sting his whole life, you know how big of a deal that is. And then it's not lost on me how Sting keeps alluding to Darby Allin, because the way Darby leaned forward, and put the TNT championship down in his lap and just kind of, this is interesting. I'm listening. You have my attention.
And he did this.
Yes.
He grabbed, and so kind of like, I'm listening.
And then, but again, Sting did the same thing that Kenny and Don did. They didn't really answer any questions. He had a little interaction with Arn, and Arn saw himself out that this is bigger. This moment is bigger than me, so I'm going to leave.
I loved it. Time. I want to talk about that for just a second. As the lone hardcore WCW guy, man, that gave me chills, because that, from the mid 80s all the way through the end of WCW, there was always a back and forth between Sting and the Horseman, and even to a point where Sting was a Horseman for a very brief period of time, which was just to set up Sting versus Flair at Great American Bash 1990 when he won the title for the first time. But to have that interaction where, you know, two of like WCW's
OGs.
yeah, thank you. I was just about to say that. OGs.
Dons.
And where, Don or Arn Anderson and Don Sting, two freaking Vito Corleone type figures right there. It was like, this is bigger than me. I'm going to see myself out. And I was like,
and you take that all the way to the end where Sting and Cody lock eyes, and Sting brings Cody in for that hug, and it could not have been an accident the way it was shot, because Sting is literally towering over Cody.
No.
And when Sting leaves, hold on. When Sting leaves, you see Cody touch his forehead, and some of Sting's face paint rubbed off on Cody's forehead, and he's, going like this, and he's looking at it, and he's sneering, and it's just, I think this is another prove yourself moment for Cody eventually.
Right.
Because Sting drops the only thing that's for sure about Sting is that nothing is for sure. So I got goosebumps the whole time.
I just want to point out, I love that line. My take on it. They are leaving it wide open for Sting to do whatever the bleep Sting wants to do.
Right.
They're leaving it wide open for them to do whatever the bleep they want to do with Sting. At the same time, I did not see it as Sting towering over Cody. I saw it as the arm around, bring him in, almost in a comforting, I got your back kind of thing. But I got your back, but you don't know that I have your back. Sting's always been Sting, and the Crow version of Sting was, for lack of a better term, in WCW, the guardian angel. He was, to use a WWE or WWF analogy, he was the conscience, much like they referred to the Undertaker.
Okay.
Sting, and they tried to turn Sting heel once. It went over worse than when they tried to turn Austin heel in WWE after WrestleMania 17. It went over that badly.
Was that when he was in the Wolfpack?
No. In Wolfpack, Wolfpack was babyface when Sting when Sting joined the Wolfpack. Wolfpack was total babyface. Now this was after Wolfpack. This was after Bret Hart concussion, end of career.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something else I have to go back and seek out then.
It was god awful. The only thing good about it was Sting came out to Seek and Destroy by Metallica. That was the only good thing about heel turn. Was that, and he was the world heavyweight champion, but he never wore the belt. He carried it kind of like, this, just kind of draped it over his arm. It was pretty, with the black duster and everything. It was just kind of boss the way he did it.
Yeah.
Anyway, massive tangent. Thanks for going with me on that one, guys. But for me, pulling him in, little head-to-head contact, and then I'll see you around, kid. A very Han Solo kind of thing, like, see you around, kid, isn't something. And when you bring someone in like that, I'll see you around, kid. That's not something you're going to say to someone that you're about to just wreak unholy hell on, or just terrorize them, subtly.
But do you think, here's a follow-up question to that, though, do you think Cody's character would, subtly take offense to that. Like, look at what I've built, look at what I've done, and you're going to talk to me like that.
No, I don't think so. Because I don't think it's going to end up being where Cody viewed "see you around, kid" as an insult. Because also you have to think about this. AEW definitely plays their nuance off of the legends that AEW was built on, namely, the moral, ethical, and creative code that was the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Everything that AEW has done is dripping in Dusty references or Dusty isms. It just soaked in it, and rightfully so. I mean, we're only talking about one of the greatest minds professional wrestling's ever seen. I mean, they're not going to. They are not going to write it in where a legend like Sting goes, "See you around, kid," and mean it as a put down. It's
Okay.
It's a Han Solo to Luke Skywalker or to Rey. See you around, kid. It's good. It's a affirmation.
Okay.
It's an affirmation. But again, the one thing that's for sure about Sting is nothing's for sure. But I cannot get over the one line that I loved, and I was like, ooh, this all seems really familiar, as he's pointing up to the nosebleeds, and there's Darby Allin. This all seems very familiar. I loved it. I freaking loved it. Shall we transition into the world of NXT?
Yes, we shall. Because my dude.
May I real quick? I would like to start it, and you can go. I'll start it with 2 words. He's back.
Yes, he is back. And I liked the way they did not jam carry and cross down our throats. They did some misdirection because they brought Scarlett out, so that Finn could, take some jabs at Cross, but then Cross didn't make an appearance till later on in the night when he beat up Damian Priest.
Well, because Priest took worse jabs. First off, Finn didn't take a jab. Finn just simply said, and his only interaction with Scarlett was, "I know what you're going to say. TikTok. Well, here's a message to your boy. Tell him when he's ready, Finn's ready."
Yeah.
That's no jab. That's no jab. That is Finn saying the champ is here.
Yeah. But I loved the way the show started, because people have legitimately wanted to hear from Finn about the championship situation, because it has been a situation.
Oh, yeah.
He's been in and out of TV, just making appearances where he talks. He hasn't been getting physical with anybody, and it brings the legitimacy of the championship into question. Are you just holding the belt as as a favor, or are you actually being a fighting champion?
Right.
And we got a few tidbits as to where this is. Was out there saying the time for team sports is over. Now all eyes are back on the Prince. And the first person to come out and interrupt him, which I got really excited for, was the bruiserweight Pete Dunne. I have no problem with them going for a couple of months.
Finn Balor, Pete Dunne.
Congratulations, 12 shows in a row.
Because I've always been a Balor fan. Pete Dunne might be one of my top 5 favorite guys in WWE. I love Pete Dunne. Everything about the guy. So that looks great. But I'm also not gonna lie, especially after watching War Games and the way they made absolutely sure to make it, they made it a point to have Kyle O'Reilly be the beast of War Games, be the absolute certifiable badass, which he actually is. I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind seeing Balor and O'Reilly go again, because that was a fun match. I even like the idea of Damian Priest and Balor, but it looks like we're going to get Cross and Balor. And yes, please. Those two monsters will beat the hell out of each other, and I'm here for it. I honestly, I think that this could potentially be one of the better setups for the NXT Championship since Gargano and Ciampa, which we never really got because of Ciampa's neck injury. But I think that this could be a very, very good setup. Any more thoughts on this?
We want to thank you ever so much for watching those commercial breaks of the sponsorships that we have that don't actually exist. But we are back, and we are ready to dive headlong into one of our favorite parts of the show, the GOAT discussion. And this week we're talking about your boys, the New Day.
Now, real quick, this isn't a GOAT discussion where there's a lot of GOAT sounds that cover up what we say. We're talking about the G.O.A.T. So there,
correct.
Minimal swearing this week. So
far, I don't think we'll be swearing that much.
So I want to point out, I think right now our count is on like words that I would have to beep. I think we're at 0 because you know FCC rules say you can get away with ass, hell, and damn, and I mean, with the exception of just saying it right there, I don't even think I've done it tonight.
We can shoot for 0. We can. There's nothing wrong with the shooting for 0.
Hey, progress. But
keep
yeah,
your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars, people.
Yeah, we are talking about the New Day as a GOAT discussion. As we like to on Wrestling with Egos, we take a person, team, group, and compare them into the pantheon of professional wrestling history and look at them and determine whether they should or should not be included in the GOAT conversation. We're not going to say, we're very rarely will we ever say so and so is the greatest of all time. There are exceptions. For example, in one of our GOAT discussions, The Undertaker is the greatest character of all time. I think I think that was a very undisputed agreement in that one. But we are talking about one of the most interesting stories of a group in the history of wrestling. I don't think you can argue that. We are talking about the New Day. We are talking about Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Xavier Woods. Before we get into that, just a reminder, since we haven't done one of these in a while, we do have a little small list of criteria. Brian, hit us with it.
The GOAT criteria centers mainly on 6 topics, 6 segments of the, what makes up a great wrestler or a great team in this case. The first one is storyline relevance, and that means did they figure into prominent angles or were they just a mid-card performer? The second is career longevity. Have they been around for a long time or only a short while? The third is, hey, microphone skills, hey. Are they able to talk people into the building with catchphrases and the like, or are they clunky and forgettable on the microphone?
I'm just going to go ahead and point it out. That's one area that the New Day totally sucks at.
Well, I'll be prepared to debate you on that then, sir.
Hashtag sarcasm.
I know. Yes. The fourth criteria is championships. Did they figure prominently in the championship scene of whatever promotion they were a part of?
Not really.
Or were they never trusted with multiple championship reigns? The fifth one would be overall health. Your best ability is your availability. Were they able to maintain an injury-free track record, or do they always seem to miss stretches of time? And then Patrick's favorite criteria, the intangibles. Did they bring that certain something special to their time in the ring, or were they just a wrestler?
Yes, and that is. I'm proud of that one. That's my addition to the GOAT conversation, because RJ and Brian did Jericho without me, and then the next time we did it, I threw that one in there.
I would actually like to kick the discussion off by saying that couple of things. First of all, it's kind of fortuitous that we came up with the idea to do a GOAT discussion on the New Day because, as I mentioned last time, on the WWE Network, rather handily, is a collection of the best of the New Day. And in preparation for tonight's episode, I queued that bad boy up.
Oh, yeah.
And I was reminded of how they were created. And I also like this discussion because it's a tag team that we have all gotten to see from start till now. It's not something that we had to go back in the annals of time, like, say, Legion of Doom or, the Road War, or that's the same people. Sorry, like, or the Freebirds, or insert name of tag team here. And the way they came together was kind of interesting,
Right.
And it was three guys that experienced varying levels of success. In Xavier Woods' case, not much.
No.
Big E had a couple of things here and there. Kofi had the most success of any of them.
Right.
But I think, as they have told it, they were sitting around one day backstage and they were realized, you know what? We're not getting breaks. Why don't we come together and see if we can create something? And they pitched it. And the writers said, "Well, okay, we'll take it for a spin and see how it goes." And at first, and I was reminded of this when I watched the collection. At first, it went over like a fart in church.
Worse.
You didn't know what they were. You didn't really know what they were doing.
No.
So I mean, and this is what.
B?
Yes.
You froze.
Okay, I'm back.
All right, cool.
These three guys were allowed space and time to try things out. And if it didn't work, okay, fine. We'll just go back next week and we'll try it again. We're not going to bail on it because it didn't get over the first time we tried it.
All right.
And it's like, okay, if
yeah, I hate to cut you off on this, but you're slowly starting to dissect every little part of them, when I think we could actually do this a lot better than just, because you're dissecting it in a very vague way. Let's be a lot more concrete about this. The way they debuted, quite honestly, it was initially, it looked to us as fans like it was going to be a new version of the Nation of Domination. Three black guys that were going to stand together and take what was theirs. I believe that was Xavier Woods' exact words to Kofi and Big E when he cut that in-ring promo with him wearing the shirt and tie and the glasses and he had his hair pulled back. Good look for him. But that's what I'm like, okay, is that what we're going to get? Fast forward, and now we're getting these vignettes starting, and I had it written down. The vignette started on November 3rd of 2014. And it was a gospel choir a song that we had never heard before, which we now know very vividly, and each, I believe it was Big E to begin with, that was talking about, talking about how, you know, it was very gospel choiry, which made sense for Big E to be the first guy because his parents are ministers. Um, and obviously growing up in church, he was able to go, as we would say down south, he was able to go straight tabernacle on that one. But, and then it went from Big E to Kofi to Woods, and then the three of them together, because it's a new day, because because of this, the stronger, you know, the ones that can fly higher, and the smart are now smarter, something along those lines. And they were accentuating the three things that those guys have that separate them from everybody else. And then their debut, silence. Talk about build crickets. I remember watching it on my TV going, oh my God, this is bad.
It's got to be a horrible feeling, too.
Right. I mean, because the whole thing, they started it off with the power of positivity. And, a lot of people forget, we're so used to the, New Day Rocks chant. It started as them that was the way they were clapping, trying to get the crowd behind them, kind of like, how Kenny Omega will be in the middle of the ring and do the little Terminator boom 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 on the mat before he does the tope suicida. That was what all three of these guys were trying to do, and then the fans jumped in on it. New Day sucks. New Day sucks. Much like the fans forced The Rock to turn heel, the fans forced the New Day to turn heel. The point that I am going to continue to make over and over and over again during this conversation, Brian, is that the New Day is underlined a million times, put it up in bold Orbitron black font. Orbitron is the font that we use on our show for all of our graphics. Is the tag team version of The Rock. There are so many parallels, with the exception of Hollywood. But to a degree, mainstream success and credibility outside of wrestling. But
I never thought about it that way before until you just said it.
So many freaking parallels between the New Day and The Rock. It is mind-blowing. One, started off as white meat, lame ass baby face, like Alexa Bliss, but actually not being psychotic. All the fans just hated it. Forced them to turn heel. By turning heel, they turned the volume up not to 11, but 11 million, and started doing some of the most idiotic, insane, stupid things that got over. Xavier Wood brings the freaking trombone to the ring. Hey, nothing against trombone players. Your boy right here, third chair, Oxford High School. Anyway, bringing a trombone to the ring, being all about where their gear was rainbows and unicorns, and they wore unicorn horns on their heads, and they got made fun of for it because instantly there was a million penis references.
Yeah.
The Rock does something similar during his heel run. he starts with a whole bunch of catchphrases. Rudy Poo Candy Ass, Jabroni, if you smell what the Rock is cooking. Just a bunch of, let's be honest, nonsensical crap that people thought was funny. And while the trombone was the big kicker for the New Day, The Rock, his kicker was a freaking finishing move, the People's Elbow. Somehow, the trombone and the freaking elbow got over like a son of a gun. So, here's, as we get into the criteria, this is the end of my opening statement. Not only is the New Day worthy of being considered one of the greatest tag teams in the history of the business, I will argue tonight that the New Day is the greatest trio of all time. Not the Freebirds, not Demolition, not any trio you ever, not the triple threat from ECW. The New Day is the greatest trio, and quite possibly outside of the Horsemen and the NWO and DX, the greatest faction in history. Thank you for your time, Your Honor. Let's continue the argument. Let's get into the arguments, and let's start with the one that I think is like, holy crap when you look at it. Championships.
10. Sorry, I lost count.
Let's 7. Let's see. Yeah, 7 times SmackDown Tag Team Champions, 3-time and current Raw Tag Team Champions. I believe the Raw Championship was the WWE Championship before the brand split.
Yes, I think you're correct.
They're acknowledging as the WWE Championship. So as a group, 10 tag team championships. Let's not forget Big E, 1-time Intercontinental Champion. Kofi, 2 or 3 times. I couldn't find that one on here, but multi-time tag team champion. Oh, and then there's Kofi freaking Mania.
Yes.
Kofi Kingston is a former WWE champion. Not just that. Kofi Kingston is the first African American WWE champion in history. Can't claim the Rock. Can't claim the Rock on that, despite the fact that the Rock's dad is a black guy. Rock is more Samoan than anything else.
Yes.
Kind of like how someone may identify as a male or female. Rock identifies as a Samoan.
Sure.
So, and yes, Mark Henry won the World Heavyweight Championship, not the WWE Championship. Right. This team has done everything, and I mean everything. You cannot argue their championship pedigree, and if you try, stop.
Yeah, you'll come off sounding like a fool.
You're going to embarrass yourself.
Yeah.
Let's talk about notable feuds. The one that stands out to me is the Usos. They went to war for years. We are now we had the New Day for 6 years, from 2014 up until just very recently here in 2020, the year of our global pandemic bastard. Sorry, there's my one swear because it goes along with the catchphrase. I don't think there was a single year where we did not get at least some sliver of a program between the New Day and the Usos. And a lot of times that revolved around the titles. The Usos were even a part of the Kofi Mania build, and that emotional tag team gauntlet match where after the bar, which another great rivalry, sweet lord. After the bar loses, they decide to jump the New Day, put Big E through a table, and then the Usos come out, and the Usos forfeit because they believed in Kofi and they respect Kofi and they respected Woods and E, and forfeited. And then you got Daniel Bryan and Rowan, and the conclusion to that, and then Kofi goes on to WrestleMania. And damn, that was fun. And actually last year, CBS and Sports Illustrated both named that the best moment or angle in wrestling for 2019.
Well deserved.
Deservedly so. So those right there, the championships and the significant rivalries, those take care of themselves. So check and check. Brian, what we got next?
Let's go to another obvious one, the microphone skills. I mean, all three of them are very adept at talking.
Good God. Okay. Not only, and I'll make a quick point on this and then I'll let you go. Not only are they great at this, them going heel initially allowed Big E to come out of his shell and not be, I'm big, I'm strong, I'm a badass. I like to pin people for a 5 count. He showed off personality, and he, much like people always say in wrestling, you be you with the volume turned up. For about a 9-month stretch, he just kept turning the volume up, and he just got louder and louder and louder, and it was amazing, which is why they got over his heels, and then they had to stop. And they're heels, you're supposed to boo us. No, we're not going to boo you. You make us laugh, and we're not laughing at you, we're laughing with you, because I'm not going to scream it because there are people in the house trying to sleep. My favorite thing ever. Oh, Booty Ham when they were in Birmingham, Alabama. And they're heels at this time. I remember watching that SmackDown thinking, oh, that's great. Right down the road from home. And it's Booty Ham. But yeah, everything was booty. Booty, Bootio. They make sure you ain't booty.
You ain't booty.
Everything they did turned to gold.
I mean, down to something as innocuous as how you hold the microphone.
Hey, this was E. This was Woods.
Right.
Woods did the Damian Sandow, and E just.
Yeah. But and they made sure that all three of them got a chance to talk. And the part that was a revelation for me was listening to Big E, because I always knew that Woods and Kofi had the gift of gab, you know. But then that's why it was so welcoming when you heard Big E like get a chance to like deliver the, you know.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
I mean, and that is in wrestling. There are moments when someone's music hits and you get that visceral crowd reaction. I'll give you a couple of examples. Glass shattering, a gong going off, the sound of a man screaming, "If you smell," a little guitar riff followed by, "Oh, you didn't know." Oh, insert name of city.
Yeah.
I mean, their visceral reaction. Because I'm sorry, if you were in a WWE crowd and they did, and you hear Big E do that, and you're not chanting along, I pray for your soul.
Right.
RJ, one of the most vehement detractors of WWE. He and his wife ate a box of Bootios the morning of WrestleMania in Orlando before they went to the show. Yes, I just made the reference for RJ that is now 9 weeks in a row.
And I think if I remember correctly, they have a Bootios Christmas ornament too.
Yes, they do. The point that I'm making, RJ did the sing along. Oh, WrestleMania! Don't you dare! Peace out.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. That is one of those things that is a reason why we love wrestling.
And then something else with their microphone skills too, they were able to get other people over within the context of what they were doing.
Oh God,
There's
yeah.
one thing that I always go back to when Chris Jericho was first trying to get the list over, and it was Jericho and Owens in the ring, and New Day came out. There was going to be some kind of a 2-on-2 tag match or something like that. And I forget who started KO or who started making fun of Jericho, one or the other. I think it might have been Kofi, the first one. You know, Kofi, you're making fun of my best friend Kevin Owens. Well, you know what happens when, and he gets put on the list. I'm not going to do the whole thing here, but Kofi goes, "Oh, why'd you have to do that? Why'd you, And then Woods looking at him, chuckling.
Yeah.
Or no, Woods, and the way Woods reacted, no, don't put me on the nobody, getting somebody else's gimmick over while in the context of doing what you're doing.
Right.
There's an art to that too. So I mean,
I also want to point out at two different points in interactions with legends in WWE. They almost broke John Cena. They almost broke The Rock. They almost broke The Rock because The Rock was making fun of them for wearing, I think he said donkey penises on their heads, and then Woods did scream like he always does, and they cut back to The Rock for half a second. And then they realized, nope, we're not going to do that because The Rock's about to break. Nope. But Mike Skills, big time check. Oh, and by the way, for E to be that big of a human being and drop down in a split, what we got next?
Overall health
up until
is
this
perhaps the only thing you can
up until this year, perfect.
Yeah. And I was just about to say that's the only thing you can really ding them on, because and everybody has little nicks and scratches and stuff like that. But yeah, up until this year, when was it?
Woods went out with an
Yeah,
Achilles
Woods with
and
the
went out with some minor injury, which left
yeah,
E by himself for a little while.
yes.
Um,
And they obviously have intangibles out the wazoo, and I think that their best intangible is their confidence
no,
to
no.
try
Well,
all of these different things to, for Xavier Woods to wear curly boots to the ring, a la the Iron Sheik, and have it work, you
um,
know, for them. And actually, I got another one. Their bravery.
wait, let me jump in on that, on bravery, and we'll talk about Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods once did his hair up like freaking the freaking Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. He also did his hair up
Yeah.
once. Ruby Rod from the movie The Fifth Element, Chris Tucker's character with the big tube right here. Um, he came out for one segment with his hair like that, and he came out for another segment on that pay-per-view, and his hair was down. Somebody was like, no. But let me tell you one more intangible that they were able to do collectively, even though it was one guy of the New Day that really did this, but what got it over was the group of them, and then they were able to branch out. Up, up, down,
Yeah.
down. Xavier Woods is a, well-known gamer, and his YouTube channel has almost as many subscribers as we do in my dreams. Um, yeah, several million to several dozen. Um, by the way, I'd like to point out one of those subscribers is our favorite women's wrestler, Thunder Rosa. Hi. Anyway, um, up, up, down, down. Not only branch them out into the gaming community, but also branch them out into celebrity because, just a few names of celebrities that have been on Up, Up, Down, Down. You've had several NFL players that have played Madden with the likes of The Miz and Samoa Joe and Woods and Kingston and Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. Wayne Brady has been on Up, Up, Down, Down. Wayne freaking Brady. Um, it's just, and now you're looking at it, and Xavier Woods has now parlayed this. He's now on staff at the new relaunch of the G4 network, which is huge. So their ability to branch out and, for lack of a better term, continue their own brand is massive. So talk about bravery. One, was his hair, but two, taking a chance on that. And in light of all of the whole WWE won't let anyone have Twitch or, Cameo or anything like that. Why is Up, Up, Down, Down still going? Because WWE can't touch it
Right.
because it has way too many subscribers. It it became it became too big to control before Vince even had the idea of nobody can do anything like that. And then
Right.
look at it like, well, crap. We've got this juggernaut over here that we can't touch. That's suicide.
Well, the reason I was going to bring up bravery too has nothing to do with Up, Up, Down, Down. Last year, and I guess this sort of went under the radar,
I know
but
where you're.
last year, when all of you know, these racial unrest protests and things like that were going on, it was not lost on me that Kofi and E would go to the ring with gear that highlighted this struggle, and they would wear armbands with Breonna Taylor's name on it and Jacob Blake's name on it, and
George Floyd.
you know, George Floyd, and all of the many names that have been pushed to the forefront in this ongoing stain on our country, if you ask me. It takes guts to do that, especially considering, who you work for, and, maybe they aren't the most sensitive people in the room when it comes to issues of race. Just look at the championship history. Look at how few people of color have been elevated to positions of, high stature.
Right. I've got a quote that I'm looking at, and this was after. So on June 12th of this year is when Big E in Kingston, because Woods was still on the shelf, in response to the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, they came to the ring, took a knee, bowed their heads, and put a fist in the air, in homage
I'm
to.
sorry, that was this year. God, so much has happened this year. I thought that was last year.
Uh, you know what? 2020 feels like it's been a century long, man.
Interminable.
But this was a quote from Big E. It was something that really weighed on us, and we really felt like we needed to make a statement. We want to work toward a better world, a better society, and it's been really heartwarming to see the amount of support for that. We want to continue to have a positive impact on our world and be worthy of people's fandom. Want to point out that just 3 days prior to Big E and Kingston's kneeling on SmackDown, the two of them and Xavier Woods opened up about their personal experiences with racism and their thoughts on George Floyd's killing on their New Day podcast, Feel the Power, which is through WWE and I can't remember what podcast network runs it. Um, Endeavor Audio.
Okay.
But
I did check out the first episode of that. I haven't gotten to any of the other episodes yet, but
some of them are funny as crap. But the one where, and it's also on WWE Network, the Let's Have a Talk About Racism. That is a very intimate discussion. But at the same time, a lot of their podcasts are typical New Day hilarity.
and hijinks, yeah.
Especially when you hear when they're getting, I think it was either December of last year or early January of this year, getting ready for the Rumble. Big E made the statement, well, you know how people cut to Mania, gotta get looking good for WrestleMania. I want to bolt to Rumble. And then I want to put a layer of lotion on, then a layer of cocoa butter, then a layer of baby oil, and then do all that again. Slide in the ring, and I'm trying to do my best, Big E. Slide in the ring, just slide in the ring, spread eagle, and go, come get me, sucker. You have to listen to that because that is
That's the episode I watched.
Yes, that is
because they were talking about Kofi's Rumble moments, and then
yeah. Oh, whoa!
Woods talking about the 1 year he was all excited. Oh, well, you're not in it this year. Sorry. I'm like, okay, you talk about
yeah. Another intangible.
Yeah.
Kofi and his escapability. Hey, there's another ability right there. Your best ability is your escapability.
That's good.
In Royal Rumble. How many times have we seen him as a member of the New Day, snatch victory from the jaws of defeat after we thought he was eliminated from the Royal Rumble? It's insane. But
my favorite is still the one where he takes JBL's chair and pogo sticks.
That had disaster written all over it.
Yeah.
But it was beautiful. What is our next topic?
It's actually I mean, this one kind of speaks for itself. Career longevity. That's the last one because believe it or not, we've talked about the other
Everything.
five already.
We're talking about their careers have been going on for as long as each one of them has. I believe Woods has the shortest career of the three of them. I think he came to main roster in 13.
Yes.
Um,
Kofi's been around since at least 2002 or three.
yeah, something like that.
And then Big E was hanging around with Dolph Ziggler and AJ.
Right.
That was like 04, 05.
You know, the funny thing is, we've seen, you know, um, Kofi feels like he's been around for forever. He's only 39.
Yeah, so that's a lot of career to cram into a career.
Yeah, that's a lot of career to cram into a career. But he's, all three of them have been around. Well, Kofi especially has been around for a while. Both, but as a group, we're only looking at a sample size of 6 years. But in that 6 years is a Ric Flair length career of brilliance, of moments, of great matches, of great entertainment, of great emotion, um, and entertainment. Um, you know, I make fun of the phrase sports entertainment. I hate it. Because I've said on this phrase, I was not very sports entertained by that. I'm always entertained by the New Day. They're one of my favorite things on the main roster. Um, I'm still pissed off that they split them up. I still think it's going to come back to bite them on the ass. But again, now I go back. Judge Kriego. I go to my closing argument. Everything speaks for itself. This is the greatest. This is the greatest trio in the history of professional wrestling. Greater than the Freebirds. Greater than the Von Erichs. Greater than the Shield.
And I would agree with you because when you say trio, the Freebirds are the first thing that pop into my head.
Right.
I think it's a safe statement to make the New Day have not even courted a 20th of the controversy that the Freebirds used to court.
Time. Yeah, because keep in mind, you're talking about controversy now because of the Freebirds' antics and what they wore to the ring in 1983. Keep in mind, they wore robes with the rebel flag on them, but one of the most popular TV shows in America featured an orange Dodge Charger with the rebel flag painted on the hood. So you gotta look in terms of
context.
It's controversial now, much like the misinterpreted lyrics of "Baby It's Cold Outside" are, offensive now. Don't get me started.
That's another topic for another show.
Oh yeah. And it's too close to Christmas. Both Jesus and Santa are watching, and I do not want to go rant mode on tonight. Not only do I not want to go to hell, I don't want coal in my stocking. Perspective, boys and girls. But not, were the Freebirds able to generate more heel heat? Well, of course they were. Why? Because they were feuding with the Von Erichs in Texas. Kind of hard not to be a heel when you're going up against the Von Erichs in freaking Texas. You're talking about, the Freebirds got heat because they were feuding with the Von Erichs in Texas. Feud with the Von Erichs in Texas, you're a heel. I don't care if you're the Pope. I don't care. It could be Oh, let's see. The Pope, Mother Teresa, and
Santa
Princess.
Claus.
And who?
Santa Claus.
And Santa Claus. And if they said one cross thing about Carrie, Kevin, and David Von Erich in Texas,
We just don't do that around here, son.
it's like, it would be like me walking into a family reunion for the family of Bear Bryant wearing orange and blue.
Do you have all of your affairs in order?
I can run faster scared than they can mad. I won't say anything else. I've already had to cut some horrible comments out of this show. I didn't swear though. I want to point that out. Perspective. But from a wrestling perspective, from a fan interaction perspective, from a overall body of work perspective, I tripled down on my statement that the New Day is the greatest trio in the history of the business. And in my opinion, one of the most influential teams in history.
If you're waiting for an argument from me, you're not going to get one. I mean, it's, that's one of the reasons I love doing these GOAT discussions, is because you understand the depth and breadth of somebody's career the way you wouldn't if you just said, yeah, they're great. But when you break it down blow by blow, and as you said before, to say that it's only happened, or that it's only been over the course of 6 years, they've accomplished quite a bit in 6 years.
Right. And not only that, we're talking about their tag team title reigns. They're the longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions of all time, with a 493-day reign. Which in this day and age, where the championship is a hot potato,
and where the tag team divisions, quite honestly, are an afterthought.
Oh God, yeah. Then that's huge. Because before the New Day and the Usos and the Bar, your tag team champions were usually this guy and this guy. It was a and tag team. Kofi Kingston and CM Punk, Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne,
right,
and Christian. There was an ampersand and the tag team name. And I don't just mean power and glory. That was a team name. But personally, I would love to see your comments below. I would love to see your comments down here below. Let us know what you think. Let us know why you agree with us. Let us know why you don't agree with us. Let us know what GOAT discussion you want next, because we'll probably do one probably shortly after the Rumble, maybe if not the Rumble, February. We break these things out when we run out of crap to talk about.
Yeah. And everybody out there in Wrestling with Egos land, AEW says winter is coming. Well, winter is here, and winter also means it's going to be soon time to hand out some awards, hand out some hardware. Little administrative stuff really quick. Next week's episode is going to be our final episode of the year of our Lord 2020, because it is the holiday season, and we want to spend some time with our families.
And by the year of our Lord, you mean the year of our global pandemic bastard?
Yes, that's your catchphrase. I'm not going to steal it from
you. Dude, you have been ripping me off for 2 years.
How?
I'm just lying.
Yeah, I was about to say, how, explain the evidence that it would indicate that.
I have no basis for that argument, for the simple fact that you think most of my catchphrases suck anyway. You've been saying that for 8 years.
True statement. But we will spend some of that holiday season time fine tuning and crafting the nominees for all the various categories. And our first show of the year of our Lord 2021 will be mostly debate, but also handing out that hardware for things like Match of the Year and Male and Female Superstar of the Year, and Tag Team of the Year, et cetera, et cetera.
Let's put it this way: for Match of the Year, we're going to have a large group of nominees going into it, and we're going to argue. I guarantee you, that's going to be the bulk of the show.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, feelings will be hurt during that episode.
Oh God, yes. It's pre-show meeting is going to be a promise to each other that anything said
can't be held against us.
Not be held against us after the show. After the show, it's like hall pass.
Right.
So,
Brian, did you even watch the match? No, you didn't watch the match. You're just sitting here advancing your stuff, and that's not what we're doing here, Brian.
Brian, stop regurgitating what Dave Meltzer said, which is something I will never say to Brian. Anyway, that's gonna be January 8th of 2021 as we wrap up the year of our global pandemic bastard, which isn't even my catchphrase. I ripped that off from What Culture.
Great. Now they're going to come after us.
No, they're not.
Okay.
I have something funny to tell you once we get out the show though that I heard, and it's funny. Actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and do it. So on What Culture, and shout out to Simon Miller, because I think his stuff is actually pretty funny, and his arms are huge, and he could kill me. My bald head's better though. I'm just gonna point that out. I'm a better bald guy. Anyway, if you listen very closely to his ups and downs that he does, if you listen very, very closely, faintly in the background is the same can music that's the beginning of our show.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard that yesterday. I'm like, son of a.
Wow.
Yeah, that's funny. Anyway, this show is starting to go off the rails. So let's get out of here. Mainly because I'm going on about 3 hours of sleep, 6 hours of sleep for the course of the last 2 days. I'm tired. Sounds like a normal Friday night for me. We will be back next week. We're going to talk all things of the week that was in wrestling, and we're probably going to find some fun topic to talk about, gearing us all up for the holiday season. We may even hand out some gifts. Who knows? But one thing I will tell you is that Brian will be surrounded by his 2 favorite ho-ho-hos. Me and RJ. I had to get that one in. I had to. I'm sorry. Sleep deprivation. I've said some stupid stuff tonight. I really don't care. I'm having a good time. Any final thoughts, my best friend?
Thank you as always for watching. Thank you as always for your feedback. It makes us better. Cue up some wrestling. There's a lot of great wrestling to choose from out there. A lot of great things happening all across the board, over in Japan, here in America, over in the UK. Cue it up. Watch it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click the bell, get the notifications. That way you know when we're going on. By the way, did you guys know we had a Facebook page now? Facebook.com/wrestling with egos.
I heard a rumor.
We're on that now. Took us enough time. Mainly because we needed graphics and we're too cheap to buy them. So somebody had to learn how to do it. That sucked. I'm a video editor, not a graphic designer. Damn it, Jim, I'm a barber, not a pool man.
So the bottom line is there's tons of ways to interact with you boys at Wrestling with Egos. So please take advantage of that.
Twitter, here on YouTube, email, Facebook. Love to hear from you guys. Comments, suggestions. Let's rock and roll. Looking forward to closing out 2020 and maybe the promise of a better 2021 until we finally kick this year to the curb next week. My name is Patrick. For the disembodied voice that is RJ and my best friend Brian, this has been Wrestling with Egos, and this is why we love wrestling.